I'm not really interested in Nudie-gate, but I am concerned. I've had the superintendent not only make lofty promises on my show, he says he doesn't need to go by your board. I am concerned that your board is going to be skipped over as much as possible. Do you have confidence in your board still after all of this? And what do you say to the people of Oklahoma who hear these promises that may not be kept?
You know, I mean, here's the deal. What Oklahomans need to understand is there's a separately elected superintendent of education in Oklahoma. And so, in other words, other states, the governor has hire and fire authority over those superintendents of education. And so we don't have that in Oklahoma. So it's a weird system. But the board is supposed to be there as a check and balance. And it's Oklahoma's board. So as the governor of Oklahoma, the governor appoints people on that board. But what's weird is there's a weird rule that board members can't put agenda items on the board. And so really it's, you know, the elected superintendent, which is elected by the people and duly elected, but that's his education department. And so that's why I don't comment a lot on what he's doing. It's, there's a lot of other people commenting on it. Yeah, I mean, we disagree about a lot of things. I'm disappointed in what's happening in some of the educational outcomes that I see just like every Oklahoman. But that's why school choice is so important. And that's why I think it's really important to have open transfers in public schools. And I tell people all the time, rich people already have school choice. They move to the best neighborhoods. They can put their kids in any school they want. And so it was important to me to get school choice done so now every family can have an opportunity to go to a private school or another public school or wherever the parent thinks their kids are getting a better education, because ultimately injecting a free market system is the only way you fix some of the failing schools in our system. And so that's what I'm really passionate about, school choice.
But do you feel you have to defend your board right now, especially as they're being skipped over from some big policy decisions?
You know, I mean, listen, they're all Oklahomans. They're serving a capacity. I don't feel like I have to defend anyone. My parents taught me that cream rises. People can see the truth, and I don't have to come out and defend myself. Oklahomans know who I am. I've been governor now for 7 years, and I'm going to put high ethics people on different boards and commissions that have conservative values like I do. But those folks can defend themselves. And I know there's a lot of rift between, you know, people are fighting like crazy right now. But Oklahomans are smart. They're going to be able to elect the right superintendent next time, and they're going to be able to, elect the next governor after me, and hopefully we'll get another businessman governor that actually is not a politician to lead our state.
I need you to respond to something the superintendent said on my program about a month and a half ago. You guys used to be buddies. And he said you decided to tear up the Board of Education because you had a disagreement over green energy policy. Is that where all of this has come from? Is that what happened?
No, I mean, here's the deal. I'm a free market guy. The reason Oklahoma's growing, and we're here at Google right now at a $9 billion investment, because we're business friendly. We don't pick winners and losers. And so in other words, I'm going to defend the oil and gas industry, and I'm going to defend wind, and I'm going to defend solar and hydrogen, and if there's something else in the future that comes up. What I won't defend is subsidies. I don't think that the government should be making winners and losers. So the wind subsidies need to absolutely go away, and I got rid of those since I've been in office. But you let the free market work. You let innovation work. And if you're a politician that's trying to say, oh, we want this industry, not that industry, that's not a free market approach, right? We have to let American companies innovate. It's the same thing California is trying to do to the oil and gas industry or farming or this or that. Government should not tell this neighbor what they can do with their land, right? And so that's the whole problem. As soon as you have the government coming in and saying, oh, well, we don't like cattle over here, we don't like chickens over here, when can the government come in and tell me they don't like what I do on my land? So that's the whole deal. You either believe in free market principles or you don't. And I'm just shocked at some of the politicians that are continuing to say that, well, I want to ban this or ban that. Government has no place in business. Get government out of business. Let businesses go compete with each other.
Did you still think the board needed to be changed because of the politics, like immigration and things like that as well?
Well, the reason I got rid of those other board members, that's in my purview. And as soon as I thought that we've gone off the rails and we started using children as pawns on the immigration issue, that's when I was like, hey, I'm going to do what I can to protect Oklahoma's school kids, and we have an obligation to make sure that we're giving every kid an opportunity to be successful and be educated. That's the federal law, that's the state law. And when I talk to law enforcement, nobody's looking at kids to determine who the criminals are. We're doing a good job of working with the Trump administration to get criminals out of our state, and we're working. We're the first governor to set that up. And but you know, the reason people get so frustrated with politics is they can see right through it. People are trying to run for their next job. They're trying to run for their next office instead of actually focusing on doing what's right for Oklahomans. And that was just those are political stunts to get their names in the paper, and have no real message on actually educating kids. So when I see that happening, I'm going to do what I can to say, hey, that's not cool. Let's put board members in there that are going to actually ask some questions and make sure that we don't go along with that nonsense, those press statements.
Big, beautiful bill passed, and I know you have worked for years to get spending under control. It looks like a lot of new spending is shifting your way. Maybe not new spending, but definitely more of what the state has to pay. And I'm thinking about Sooner Care, SNAP, and I'm hearing FEMA changes are coming soon. This is a lot of money coming your way. How do you plan on balancing, maintaining the quality of the service, but do some people get cut? Do you pull back on some of these programs? This is a lot of new funding headed your way.
So the short answer is no. I don't want Oklahomans to be worried or be scared about that. You're going to have big government people, big government bureaucrats trying to scare you, trying to scare Oklahomans. Oh, this program is going to be cut. This is going to happen. I just met with our healthcare authority, which runs Medicaid. Met with the SNAP benefit folks. We're walking through all these things. We absolutely can figure this out as a state. And just for example, the cuts aren't even taking place. And basically when I say cuts, it's just the feds are pushing some of the funding back to the states. A very, very small portion of maybe Medicaid. And that's going to happen starting in 2032. So it gives us plenty of time. And all that means is the hospitals don't get reimbursements, what's called a supplemental reimbursement. I know I'm getting in the weeds, but a supplemental reimbursement. They've only been getting this supplemental reimbursement for 18 months. And so that's going to be stair-step down starting in 2032. And then there's a tax deal. People don't want to get totally in the weeds, but I just want them to know that that's the reason that I'm conservative and I've held government expenses low. After my 8 years, we're going to have fewer state employees than when I took over in 2019. That's an amazing stat. As everybody else is growing, we've kept everything flat. I have the largest savings account in state history. So you have to prepare for a rainy day, because here's the deal that I have to applaud and really challenge our federal delegation. We have to have a balanced budget amendment. We cannot keep spending $2 trillion over our revenue nationally. It's unsustainable. National debt just hit $37 trillion. So Oklahoma is in a much better position than New York and Illinois and California. Those states are screaming like stuck pigs right now. But Oklahoma will figure this out, and nothing's going to be cut to a citizen of the state of Oklahoma.
I do know you have thoughts about the Tulsa-Muskogee Creek Nation agreement, and I'm wondering, even though it's a lawsuit between two parties, they're going to reach a settlement. These terms feel like a compact almost. And I'm wondering if that's your authority to whether you should say yes or no to some of these things.
Well, this is important. I'm so happy you're asking these questions, because Oklahomans, especially Tulsans, need to understand what's happening. The crime, the homelessness, all the things that's happened, the public safety issues in Tulsa right now are all directly related to what Monroe is doing. He is trying to co-govern the city, and he's handicapping our wonderful Tulsa Police Department and trying to say, oh, we're going to turn this over to Light Horse Police or the prosecution to the Creek Nation. Okay, there's no transparency. You go try to find out right now, go ask any citizen, go try to find out how many cases the Creek Nation has prosecuted. It's not there. So there's no transparency. It is weird that you have a mayor trying to give away jurisdiction and not protect the citizens of his city. It's just, it's unheard of. So I've had to, as governor, come in with our legal department, and we've intervened. We've told this judge, there's no way you can let a mayor give away the jurisdiction of a city. So we're waiting for that to be,
So you did step in.
Oh yeah, we stepped in. I've met with Mayor Monroe Nichols, and just said, what are you doing? This is crazy. We've won in the court system. You don't have to do this. We've already won this case. And he's withdrawn that case and tried to set up his own compact to give away jurisdiction. It's a public safety concern. So I just want Oklahomans, and especially Tulsans, to know when they see homeless, when they see crime, it is a direct relation to who you elected as mayor giving away and handicapping or tying the hands behind the back of Tulsa Police Department.
Final question. I know we're running out of time. How are things going at the Department of Mental Health? I know you were you didn't want to see the change at the top, but a lot of people seem like the train is on the track. Maybe we're not to the station yet, but a lot of people feel like progress has been made.
The admiral that I put in that place there has done an amazing job. He was with us at the Department of Veterans Affairs, and now we put him over mental health. So he's doing a great job. Have nothing but, the previous administration, when you disrupt, here's the deal with government. When you fire people and you disrupt and you're trying to challenge where those dollars are being spent, guess who's going to squeal? Okay, everybody that gets that check is going to squeal. That's what you saw happening, and they're going to try to create a lot of noise and confusion. But I want Oklahomans to know this. Everybody here, Oklahomans probably hear, oh, we've been cutting mental health. That's not true. We spent $800 million on mental health last year. We're going to spend more than $800 million this year. The year before, we spent $790. There are no cuts. All we're doing in mental health is making sure the dollars are actually being spent appropriately for the citizens of Tulsa, right? And so, like for example, here's the great example I like to give. If I've got a hospital that charges $2,500 for an MRI, okay, some kind of procedure, let's say an MRI, and I've got somebody that does an MRI for $250, okay, then I can do a lot more MRIs if I use my money and my resources to pay for the $250 one, right? That's all we're saying. We've got some of these mental health providers that are charging the state $6,700 per patient, and I have some mental health providers charging $2,500. This is for a month of care. So all we're doing is we're questioning those contracts, and guess who's squealing like a stuck pig? The people that are receiving that benefit. But guess what? These are taxpayer dollars. As the governor, I'm going to challenge and look at every contract possible, and that's why we are in such a good position, is because you have a businessman governor that's challenging these contracts so we can get actually dollars spent on people better. And so that's what we're doing.
So when I see you in January, we're ready to put this baby to bed, or at least start closing this chapter for Oklahoma.
I sure hope so. You know, Slavonic is doing a great job, but he's still keeping up with the previous administration that I directed was, hey, challenge contracts. Look at these things. Let's make sure that we're spending this $800 million effectively and efficiently, and we're getting on target to help people with mental health. Why is the homeless population going up in Tulsa?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, yeah. So that's the question. If everything was working perfectly in mental health, or with Mayor Nichols and the police, we would have no homeless population. But we know that's increasing. There's something wrong. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. But I want Oklahomans to know, don't believe the lies from the Tulsa world or whoever's saying that we're cutting mental health. A cut means they're lying to you, because a cut is like lowering the amount of money we're spending. Yeah. We're increasing this amount of money we're spending. All we're doing is we're saying, hey, you're doing a terrible job, so I'm going to take some of your money and I'm going to give it to this guy that's doing a better job. That's called business. That's called doing it better, right? So that's what I'm doing. That's what Oklahomans elected me to do, and we're going to get the job done. But also, make sure you understand what's happening right now with the public safety issue and how we're giving this over to another court system. It's crazy.